Well, what is happening, everybody? This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone out there. I hope you all have a chance to take a breather over these next few days, enjoy some good family, some good friends, and some good food, hopefully, and just enjoy the season. Of course, we are getting to the end of the year, and we're roughly halfway through the hockey season here for the NHL. Of course, the league does have a small shutdown around the holiday season. So after tonight, we're going to be without hockey for a few days. So I thought it was a good time for me to take a step back and think about what am I most thankful for uh, through the season here to date. And, so I've got a little bit of a top 10 list for us. Everybody loves lists, so we're gonna do a little top 10 of, Ben's most thankful, list here for, the NHL. We're gonna start with the Utah Hockey Club. In their first season there in Salt Lake City, the team is 16, 11, and 6 for 38 points, 5th in the Central, so hanging around that playoff line. I'm just very thankful and very happy, and we're no longer talking about the Arizona Coyotes and that whole mess down there, building plans and city votes and blah, 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 right? Happy that conversation is over. I think Salt Lake is a perfect place for the NHL to be. So far, they've been very well received too. I think the fans have really taken to them. Great ownership as well. I'm excited to see where this team can go this year. They are 7-1-2 over their past 10. So they're cooking a little bit. I did have them as one of my wild card playoff teams for this year. So I'm certainly kind of pulling for them to get in. And listen, as far as Arizona goes, I do think the NHL will one day return to that Phoenix area. It's just too big of a media market for the league to ignore. They just need the right owner with the right pockets, and they obviously will need a new building and hopefully a building with easy access for the fans. Number 9 on my list, Philadelphia rookie Matvev Michkov, uh, young Russian player. Of course, kid was drafted 7th overall back in 2023. A number of teams did pass him over due to the fact he had a contract with the KHL, and there was potential this was going to take 3 years for him to potentially make it over to the NHL. Well, as luck would have it for the Flyers, those last 2 years of his contract were terminated, and he was able to sign, with the Flyers here this season. Still just 20 years old, 5'10", 172 pounds, and, if you've had a chance to see him on the ice, you know that he plays a lot bigger than his size would indicate. Uh, Numbers so far this season, 11 goals, 16 assists for 27 points, and definitely near the top of that Calder Cup race or Calder Trophy race for the best rookie in the league. I just think you got a superstar in the making here. I really do. I think he's a franchise level talent, a player that the Flyers should be able to build around and make a big part of their team for years to come. So love watching him play. Can't wait to see more as he develops and grows his game there with the Flyers. Number 8, Jeremy Swayman, contract extension signed, locked in. This is number 8 on my list. You want to talk about an exhausting conversation this summer, man. It got so annoying to continue to talk about this. But listen, once that Allmark trade was completed with Ottawa, and this extension talk just continued to linger just longer and longer and longer, fans were getting anxious. They were getting worried. And it definitely dragged out way longer than it should have. Looking back on it now, there's plenty of blame to go around between Swayman and his camp and the Boston Bruins organization. But listen, they got it done. 8 years, 66 million. Let's be thankful. I'm thankful that it's done. We know that Swayman's not having his best year so far. Right now, he's 11, 10, and 3, 3.13 goals against, and an 887 save percentage. So, yeah, early on, you could have suggested, well, maybe some rust, where he missed a lot of camp and this and that. But, those excuses are long gone. He's what, 35 or so games into the season now. I think the bigger issue, especially early here, has been kind of the defensive play in front of him. The team defense has not been all that great. Getting better, slowly getting better. His numbers are slowly trending in the right direction. Uh, despite that rough time out west that they just had and he had. Um, but I don't think anything to worry about long term. Very thankful he's done. Very thankful he's here. Um, Yeah, you Maine Black Bear. We always love that down in Boston. Number 7 on my list, Colorado's Nathan McKinnon. This is probably one of my absolute favorite players to watch today. The guy is just, he's a freight train on skates. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. He plays angry, he truly angry, and man, there's just times you can feel that anger, come through the TV. I just love that. I love his speed, I love the tenacity he throws out there, um, and this is a guy that truly hates losing. Every player is gonna say they hate losing, get it, but I think McKinnon actually really, truly hates it. You can just see it. You can see it. To date, he is leading the league in points, 14 goals, 43 assists for 57 points. And for his career, he's already played in 827 games. Doesn't seem possible to me that he's already played that many games. 349 goals, 607 assists for 956 points. So closing in on that 1,000 mark. And of course, has his name on the Stanley Cup. Still only 29 years old, too. So still plenty of years and runway in front of him. And funny, I did learn something today about him that I didn't know about some of his numbers. His face-off percentage for his career sitting at 45.9%. Hmm. Just thought that was a little interesting. One of the top centers in the league. I never really looked that number up. Kind of surprised me. I just fully always thought he would be over 50%. Um, but it's what it is, right? Just kind of an interesting number. But yeah, absolutely one of my favorite players. I'm always thankful when I get to watch him. Did get to see him live in Boston. Oh, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I was able to go to a game, Colorado game out there. So a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Moving on to number 6, the Minnesota Wild. Listen, I had very, very low expectations of this team coming into the season. And as of today, they're sitting second in that Central Division. 20-10-4 record, 44 points. Didn't really see that coming. Now, listen, they have lost 4 in a row, but still exceeding at least my expectations for them. Last year, they missed the playoffs, 87 points. They were sixth in the Central. And, coming out of that season, of course, you miss the playoffs and you have little ability to make massive roster changes due to their dead cap money issue. They're still carrying about 14.7 million for a couple of buyouts of Parisi and Suter. So that actually gets cleaned up after this year. They still have a little money they'll have to pay out over the next, I think, 3 seasons, but that number goes way down to it's like 1.5 or something like that. So I just thought they were due for another small step backwards this year, maybe 6 or 7 in the division. So listen, I've been pleasantly surprised to see how they come out of the gates. It's been great to see. And Kaprizov, of course, their big star. He is tied for 4th in the league for points, 22 goals, 27 assists, 49 points so far for him. So he's definitely carrying a big part of that load. Listen, they got to manage through this losing streak, but sitting pretty, I think, for a playoff spot. And listen, it's Minnesota. You have to, having a successful hockey team there just feels right. It just feels right. So happy to see Minnesota off to a very good start for themselves. Number 5 on my list, the grade 8, Alex Ovechkin. Of course, Ovi still injured. Looks like he's preparing to return. He's very, very close, looking like the 28th this month. So after the break, of course, we do have Washington in town down in Boston. So for those Bruins fans heading out to that game tonight, I don't believe you're going to see him on the ice. Unfortunately, maybe he'll surprise us. But everything I've been reading looks like he's slated for the 28th to come back. But before the injury, he was off to just a great start this season. 15 goals, 10 assists for 25 points through 18 games. It's just a storied career, of course, Hall of Fame career, and just another really fun player to watch out there. I think we've all been blessed to watch him. I think even Pittsburgh fans would say they've been blessed to watch him. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, sure, he's probably lost a half a step or so out there, but it showed he can still be a very dangerous goal scorer. For his career, of course, he's played in 1,444 games, 868 goals, 709 assists, 1,575 points. And of course, is just 27 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky's goal record there of 894. So really hoping he can get back up on his feet, has some good health the rest of the way. Be nice if this could be an interesting story down the stretch for the rest of the season. He's going to break the record. I don't think there's much question about that. Just whether it happens this year, kind of in the spring, or maybe early next year. Certainly cheering for that to happen this season. I think that would be a lot of fun. Number 4 on my list, Linus Allmark and the Ottawa Senators. Listen, nothing good can last forever. And that was always going to be the case with that goalie tandem for the Bruins. It was never going to be possible to keep both of those goalies in house. Just from a cap perspective, it wasn't going to happen. I'm just very happy for Allmark and the season he's having so far. It's been very, very fun to see. He's 12-7-2 so far, 2.38 goals against average, a 915 save percentage, and really showing everybody out there that he can be a top tier goalie without sharing the net, without having to have that tandem like he had. And listen, he's essentially put the Senators on his back. Yep, they did lose last night, of course, so bad timing on my part to bring this up. But listen, they're sitting fifth in the Atlantic. They got 38 points, and they're tied with Tampa right now with that 38 points, and just 2 points behind Boston. 8-2 over their past 10. So listen, this might be the team that ends up cracking that big four in that division. We've been waiting for a team to do that. I kind of thought maybe be Detroit this year, but Ottawa's right in that position. Allmark's just been a huge part of this. Couldn't be happier for him. Of course, already signed an extension to stay there in Ottawa, so he's part of the future there. And listen, as a Bruins fan, I certainly miss having him around, miss seeing him here. Number 3 on my list, the New Jersey Devils. In action right now against the Rangers this afternoon. But, you go back to last summer, a team made just a number of key roster changes, coaching changes. And listen, all these moves, it just kind of appears like they've hit home runs with most of them. Uh, doesn't always work that way. Just winning July doesn't mean you're going to win on the ice. Just see the Nashville Predators right now. The team is currently 22-11-3, 47 points, sitting second in that Central Division just behind Washington. Markstrom has been excellent in net after coming over from Calgary. 17 wins, 2.20 goals against average, and a 911 save percentage. Defensive play, they've played with more physicality this year. I actually think they are tied for the most fighting majors this year, so they don't mind throwing the fists around a little bit. And a big thing this year, guys, is their big guys are healthy. They're keeping their guys healthy this year. Dougie Hamilton is healthy, 22 points in 36 games for him. And their stud goal scorer, Jack Hughes, healthy as well this year. 13 goals, 29 assists for 42 points. That's through 36 games. And it's funny, when you think about Jack Hughes, it just feels like he's been around for a while, but still only 23. That's just nuts to me that he's still only 23 years old. So a lot more good to come from him if he can stay healthy. I do have them as my Eastern Conference champions pick this year. So they're making me look good. And trust me, I often need all the help I can get in that category. So good on the New Jersey Devils. My number 2 on my most thankful list for this year. We're back to best on best international play this year. Starting in February, of course, the Four Nations face off. So very happy to see this. This is something the players have been wanting to see. They've been pining for this for years. So this four-team tourney, it kicks off on February 12th, runs through the 20th, kind of takes the place of the All-Star break for the league this year. You've got USA, you've got Canada, Finland, and Sweden. Games are going to be hosted in Boston and Montreal. So, hey, anybody living locally, uh, have a couple of chances to go to either city and watch some of this great hockey. Hasn't come without some criticism, though, for sure. Many wanted to see more countries involved. Czechia being left out, I know, really irked a lot of players. David Pasternak was vocal about that earlier on. Obviously, logistics play into that. Time that you have. So, listen, it's a starting point. I'd like to see more teams too, but if it was this or nothing, I think we take this. And we do have the Winter Olympics. They're coming right up here in 2026 over in Italy. So you're going to see more of that best on best on a bigger stage with all the countries involved. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So this is a nice little precursor to that. Should be some fun hockey, competitive hockey. This is really meaningful to these players. You hear guys like Marchand and Sidney Crosby talk about this. This is really impactful stuff and something these guys really, really look forward to. So um, go check that out coming up in February. Should be a lot of fun. And my number one most thankful wish list this for this year, Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights. Listen, for anyone that knows me, you'll know what a huge Bruce Cassidy fan I am. I still absolutely hate. I use the word hate. I don't use that word very often, but I hate the Bruins for firing him like they did. Anybody watching the Bees during that 21-22 season knows that he squeezed every ounce of juice out of that roster. Bruce wasn't the problem. And I'll debate anybody on that topic. Now, let's go. You want to debate me? Let's get after it. Um, I'm just very thankful to see the success, I should say, he's having out in Vegas. Been there just this is his third season. He's racked up a record of 118, 59, and 20. And of course, has that Stanley Cup going back to the 22-23 season. For this year, I did project they'd be a playoff team, but I still wasn't sure what to expect out of them. Um, lost just a lot of key players during the summer. Of course, they had added some players during the trade deadline prior to. I just didn't know how it would play out, how it would look on the ice. Well, so far so good. 22, 8, and 3 for 47 points. How's that for a start? First in the Pacific Division. Listen, Vegas, they're doing Vegas things, right? They lose key players, they bring in new players, they trade all their draft picks away. It all just seems to work for them, right? It's always kind of how it's been for the organization. And listen, I know it pisses a lot of other fan bases off to see all that early success for this organization. But listen, I'm really happy for Bruce. Great coach. And for me, he will always be a Boston Bruin in my book. So that's what I have for you guys today. Appreciate y'all checking it out and listening. And before I let you all go, I do want to just take a quick moment, pause, and just express truly my heartfelt thank you to all of you for supporting me and this channel this year. I started this up in May with really not a ton of direction or really knowing what I was actually getting myself into. Sort of took a chance on it, talked myself out of it a couple of times before I started it. But truthfully, this podcast work has filled kind of a therapeutic void in my life, giving me something more to focus on beyond work and just the regular day to day stuff. And so it's been really good. Some of you probably know I did go through a divorce earlier this year. Not fun. Suppose they never are. So for me, this has been, really a year of emotional ups and downs, a year of healing, and one of regaining some lost confidence and self value. Divorce sucks. Losing family members sucks. Walking away from someone that you love and you still love, and despite that, knowing it's the right decision sucks. But I'm very grateful for landing on my feet and just truly thankful for all the encouragement, all the kindness from all of you listeners out there, all the support you've been showing me here on the show. So looking forward to more. Can't wait to, just show further improvements here. I'm looking to invite a few more guests here on the show, working on a couple of big ones. So more to come there as we get into 2025. Some things you guys may be very excited about. And just again, hoping to see just more good growth here on the channel. Can't wait to see where we can go with it. So again, thank you all so much for watching and listening. If you do like what you're hearing here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Means a lot to me. Enjoy Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Enjoy the holiday week. And until next time, be kind, show love, and God bless.